Big poppin', money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what to tap it.
What's poppin', everybody? It's your favorite goss and doctender, that girl Henny, and tonight we are going to be pouring up on Skyy Lyfe's interview with Real Lyfe Productions. Now, if you don't know who Skyy Lyfe is, she is a publicist who is an OG to the game, and she has been moving and shaking behind the scenes for quite some time now. Now, when she sat down with Real Life street stars, she gave an account of a story that all of us probably heard about, but never knew that she was the woman behind the scenes that actually was the person who was the victim of being robbed by Tekashi 6ix9ine and Shotti and the whole Treyway crew. Now, the way the story goes is that J Prince Jr. Now, if you don't know anything about Treyway and Tekashi 6ix9ine and all of the stuff that went down, well, they had went to a concert, South by Southwest, that's held down there in Texas. And they got into it with J Prince Jr. They, being Treyway, Shotti, Tekashi, all of them, got into it with J Prince Jr. And so Star Life had an affiliation with J Prince Jr., Rap-A-Lot Records. She's been in the game for a very long time. She's been moving and shaking around a lot of people that you know and may not know. Hold on one second, y'all. So, you know, when you're an OG to the game, everybody knows who you're connected to. So now, as the story goes, and I'm going to let her tell it, and I'm just going to warn y'all ahead of time, she's a little wordy with her stories. Yeah, she's a little wordy, but she gets to the point. Now, she was in New York visiting, and she ended up getting a phone call from 50 Cent's DJ, who she was cool with because she, you know, by herself, her own self-proclamations, she has been cool with a lot of the DJs in the game. And so she went over there to 50 Studio. She did her little interview, and the interview was being live streamed to academics, and Tekashi 6ix9ine was watching as well. Now, baby, when she went to go leave from that interview, what had ended up happening was Shotti and them ran down on her while Tekashi was in the black truck recording. But people thought that it was J Prince Jr. that was being run down, but in all actuality, it was Star Life. Dun, dun, dun. Now that I've given y'all the synopsis, we're going to go ahead and listen to what she had to say, because in her story, baby, she talks about how she called up there to the NYPD and she was making these trying to make a report about her getting robbed, and she had a face-to-face encounter with the hip-hop police. Now, child, we'll get into the hip-hop police as the story goes, but I wanted to get y'all whistles wet, you know, wet your whistles just a little bit before we got into the story. Now, if you are new here, welcome, welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Click that notification bell and select all so you get notified whenever I do a video. And if you are a returning Mob Down Henny Gang member, then baby, you already know how this goes. Y'all better hit that like button, share this video out, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that Henny is at the bar and she is pouring up again. But now, without further ado, y'all, let's go on ahead and let's get into this interview that Real Life street stars. Make sure y'all go over there and follow them, because tomorrow I'm live with Dogface. Yes, your girl be going live over there on Real Life Street Stars with Dogface. Shout out to Dogface, okay? I'll be over there tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, popping ish with Dogface the way that I pop ish with Dogface. But for tonight and for now, we gonna listen to what Skyy Lyfe had to say, because baby, she was spilling some Henny.
You were in a robbery, and for this channel, that I want you to explain and go through detail of the Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, let me take my jacket off.
Robbery for this channel.
It's getting hot in here. Let me take my jacket off. Okay, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, let's get into
the nitty gritty.
Now, I know some of y'all may be sitting back and y'all may be wondering, well, Henny, why the hell is we talking about her being robbed by Tekashi 6ix9ine? Because baby, it all goes together. Just trust the process if you're new.
Got a little time. Got a little time.
Yes. So if you don't mind, and I know this is a very touchy subject because
It is.
you know,
It is. It is. It is. It is.
if you ever
It is.
been in a robbery,
This is the first time
Right.
that I spoke publicly and openly
Hey, everybody.
about everything that occurred. I've never, I don't do bloggers and podcasters because I know the truth. So when I see bloggers and podcasts, and I have degrees in journalism, so when I see it, kind of eats me a little bit if it's not done right. You know, I'm a workhorse and I run with structure. So I don't watch them. I don't. So only, I guess, what is it? A blog podcast I ever did was Tasha K. Now I did TMZ. I've, done Complex, Showtime, Hulu, Spotify. But anything that's not prime time, I've always declined. So you are actually the first.
and we appreciate it.
I love y'all. I wasn't gonna do. I'm still mad at Dallas. So we'll get into that too.
Right.
So Dallas was not on the table, but when I made that call yesterday and I heard my little root baby voice, I'm a sucker for love. So it was no other choice. I'm like, okay, this what the mood, this what God said we're gonna do. So I'm gonna give it to Real Life Street Stars. So take it easy on me.
I will.
But we're gonna get into the Tekashi thing.
All right. So can you explain that? You start that day.
Okay.
You take your time.
I'm not crying. I'm just, trying to gather my words to make sure I say it correctly. So I'm just gonna go with my heart and how it started.
Yeah, because the internet, they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. It don't matter.
So this, and I told them that I am not gonna cuss a whole bunch, but he totally ruined my life, my career. When he came into my life that day, April the 3rd, 2018, he started a whole spiral of events that we'll talk about. So, mind you, prior to this, I did not know this guy. None of them. And still have not ever met him or seen him face to face. Somebody who took so much from me. So that's part of the reason why I'm here.
Right.
I want my energy back. I want my leak back. I want all the money that is owed to me from everybody that owed me money.
Now,
I want all.
We're going to take a break from this one right here because I want y'all to listen to the interview that she did with Tasha K first. Because what I need for y'all to understand is this is not the first time that Skyy Lyfe has spoken out about this situation. She sat down with Tasha K on October 1st of 2019 and gave an interview recounting what happened during this situation. So shout out to Tasha K. This video and its content are operated by and follow the guides of the Fair Use Act. It will be used for review, commentary, and most importantly, I'm going to be speaking over it. So YouTube and anybody who gets butthurt, do not come copyright striking my channel. I don't remember the words I used to say. I used to have that script down pat. Hey to everybody that is coming in. So the reason why I wanted to take us back here is because she's speaking in 2019 about this situation. And it shows that there is a history that this is not the first time that she has spoken out. However, you're going to notice some differences in the story from 2019 to the one that she gave now in 2026. Now she's going to explain things to y'all in the Real Life Street Stars, but I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler alert for y'all. Back in 2019, Skyy is saying she didn't know who Wack 100 was, and she also didn't really know who Tekashi 6ix9ine was either. And so you have to take yourselves back into time during that time. Wack 100 was not popping on the internet the way that he's popping on the internet now. He wasn't really the topic of conversation and scandal the way that he has built him up himself up to become. He was still kind of moving and shaking. It was mostly on Clubhouse and doing a few things here or there. So for her to say that she did not know Wack 100 is not something that is hard to fathom. So you will not hear Wack 100 mentioned in this Tasha K interview, but you will hear him mentioned in the 2026 one. Okay. She also said she didn't know anything about a shoddy. She didn't know anything about Tekashi 6ix9ine, which it's probably likely that she didn't, because she wasn't really like, I guess, into hip hop like that. But let's hear what she said in 2019, and then we'll get back to what she had to say in 2026.
Okay, we go upstairs. So when we walk in the lobby, we arrive at This Is 50. We walk in the lobby. I called ahead. I was like, hey, I'm downstairs. I was calling. I'm en route because I knew I was on a time frame. I'm en route. I'm coming. So when I get in there, I'm rushing. I'm rushing because I do not want to miss my plane. I'm ready to go home and lay in my bed. Okay, I'm tired of working. You know, I want to go home. So I'm calling, like, I'm outside. We're rushing. And we're rushing. We get in. We check in. We walk through the doors. We check in with security. They send someone down. They send this guy down to pick us up at the elevator. We're talking to him, going up in the elevator. We go in. You know, I see Thorough, hug Thorough. We sit down, get mic'd up. I'm like, we do the interview. We do a interview. Like, I don't even remember what the questions were. Real quick. 25-minute interview. They're asking all kind of questions. In that interview, Tekashi's name did come up, and they asked me. They said, Skyy, what do you think about this new artist named Tekashi? I said, I really don't know him, but I've heard, you know, some of the things that he's doing. But I pertained the question. I said, and the only thing I remember answering is I told them, I said, it goes to all, you know, the new coming generation. With me being a lecturer and teaching and lecturing all over the state of Texas, you know, in the university with my courses, I let them know, I said, I just think he's a younger generation and they need to learn respect, you know, period. It's not only him, it's a lot of them, but I just.
So that clicking that you're hearing uniquely, because I know that's like, what is that? It's her earring clicking against her headset. All right.
I would just advise him as a young man, don't be so disrespectful, you know, when you have to pay homage when you come into any field. And I left it at that. I didn't think anything else about it, Tasha. You know, we went in to ask the music industry questions. He asked about the artists and their projects. And I really didn't have too much for take in on the conversation.
So now, I want y'all to pay attention to what she said. She doesn't really know him, but that he needed to be respectful coming into the game. And if you remember anything about Tekashi 6ix9ine, when he was running amok in these internet and in these rap game streets, Tekashi was very much the troll, very much getting into stuff. Him and his crew, like, if you go into the indictment and go back to that particular point in time, you will remember, hey, Swagger, hey, everybody. You will remember, hey D, hey Heidi, hey Uniquely, hey everybody, hey B More, hey Poppington, hey T, hey Muddy Waters, hey everybody. So if you remember, he was quite disrespectful, okay? Quite disrespectful back then. And I'm going to move this along to different minute markers, just so that y'all know I'm not going to stay on the same minute marker. But that was the introduction to Tekashi 6ix9ine. Now, we'll hear about the incident that happened from the Real Life Street Stars interview that she did. We'll get into that incident and that situation. But I want to fast forward to this part right here, okay?
Okay, so nobody from that day after you got robbed called the police when you left?
I did.
Okay.
I called the police. Once I got back to Dallas, which was 2:00 in the morning, I had a red eye. About 2:00 in the morning, I immediately started calling back to New York because I needed to retrieve my things. The first person I started calling to was DJ Thorough. I'm like, DJ Thorough, like, what happened? Where my stuff at? Why did y'all do this? Who was them folks? Well, like, what went down? He's never called me back. He's never responded to any of my texts since that day.
What?
Hey,
you heard it?
Out.
You heard it? He set me up.
So she's saying that DJ Thorough set her up. That's what she's saying. That DJ Thorough set her up. Now let's skip ahead again, because like I said, we're doing this for time. Let's skip ahead to this part here.
It's bigger than that. This thing, because I don't understand how they let him get on the witness stand and lie like he did, and they already had the police report, because again, I'm the one that called the police. I did. I flew back to New York. I called the police immediately. And they told me I had to come back to New York and file a police report. I was so scared.
I was going to.
Okay, so why did you go there, Henny? Because in this video, she's saying she flew back to New York. Now, you got to understand, she was robbed after doing an interview. DJ Thorough called her to 50 Cent studio to do an interview. Right? She comes out of the interview and she goes downstairs, and Shotty and their crew and Tekashi, they're all downstairs. They rob her. She gives them their purse. They got her hard drives that have all of her information on there as far as contracts and stuff. She done got robbed. Okay, so she said she hurried up and hauled ass up out of New York and got back down there to Texas, and she started calling New York to call up to the police. Okay. She called the police. Now, say what you want to say. She is civilian, so she done called the police. Now we're going to skip up to this part right here, because all of this matters, and it gives you some context to where she was in 2019 to where she is now with the story. So thus far, we have heard she didn't know very much about Tekashi 6ix9ine back then, and I'm not surprised. She done called the police, and now she done flew back up here to New York.
Thorough. And I even have questions for the security. The security lady, after I went to the police, I said to the police the whole day when I went back to the police. The police, at first they didn't believe me. It took me to talk to 2 or 3 different detectives for somebody to say, okay, this woman probably ain't lying. So they went around there to the building and talked to the superintendent and started pulling the files. By the time the police came back out, they had me sitting in that interrogation room for 2 hours, giving me soda pop and chips. They came back with the footage. I couldn't even watch the footage. They was like, is this you right here on this day? I was like, yeah. They was like, well, we didn't talk to the security. We didn't want to talk to the super. They said the lady who was pushing us into the Sally Port, closing the door on us, they said she got fired because she didn't even file a police report. How you gonna be a security and 6 people come and see some people get robbed in your face at gunpoint and you not call the police or at least do an incident report?
Yeah, that is it's questionable. It is. It's questionable.
I run outside in Manhattan and it ain't a police to be found, and you got 5 people jumping out of SUV with guns. It's a lot of questions that need to be answered, Tasha. But at the end of the day, I just want my money. I don't care what they do, what gang they're a part of, who ego it is. I want my things, my sanity, my sleep, my life back. I'm tired of it. I don't never want to see any. I just wish this situation I wish it would have never happened. I wish it would just go away. I'm done with it already. But I want the story to be known. I want it to be straight that Tekashi and the Trey 9 gang members or whoever they are, these gangster bloods, Skyy is not a part of none of that. Never have been and never will be. Only army I'm a part of is God's army. And my children, my clan at home who depend on me every day.
All right. So that's what she had to say back then. So now we're going to fast forward into the story now that she has learned a little bit more of the situation. She knows who everybody is. She knows who Wack is, and she knows a bit more about Tekashi 6ix9ine. We all know a little bit more about Tekashi 6ix9ine as well. So we gonna fast forward to this interview, and I'm gonna be stopping and giving y'all some commentary in between, because like I said to y'all, she's very wordy, but she's also very passionate. You have to remember, this woman she experienced something that was traumatic and life altering. So now let's get back into what she said recent.
Understandable.
Well, get it off my chest. It's time. I've been done moved on, and it took 7 years, and I'm still growing and I'm still going. I had to go get my mind right. Had to go get my heart right. Had to go get my life right. All behind this situation. That boy did the game dirty. He did the game dirty. And it's a lot of people that played a part in why the industry's so up now today. So I'm going to take you down through there. I'm going to build the map and give everybody all the missing pieces to the puzzle. The reason why a lot of people can't move on.
Right.
I had to sit back and watch and wait for timing because a lot of people going to ask, why she just now saying something? Or why she just, because you. Not on nobody time but God time. I had to heal. But I'm here now. April the 3rd, 2018. I had been in New York City. Everybody know I've always traveled everywhere. I work with everybody all around the country and out the country. So it's nothing new. Same day was my last day in New York. I had been in New York about 7 days. I had did a whole bunch of stuff. I had a full itinerary day and night. I'm all in the Marcy Projects. I'm all in Harlem. I'm all in Jersey. We shooting videos. We doing interviews. I got one of my artists with me. And
so with her giving all of this context to the story, it's basically telling you that she was all over New York. Okay. She was all over, running around with a very heavy itinerary. She was everywhere. So word of her being in town naturally is going to spread. So people found out that Skyy is in town. And because she has a lot of relationships with a lot of people, that word assumingly spread fast.
And we worked, right? That particular day, I believe it was a Wednesday. I had an early morning interview with my agents, Park Slopes, my agents, because they, I've been, my Jewish agents, so they've been trying to sell me the bag since I was a kid. I ain't took it yet. It ain't been big enough yet, But we revisiting offers now. Right. So I had that meeting that morning. I get back to the hotel. It was my last day there. My flight was scheduled to leave at 7:00 that night. I always had my security detail. Everything was going great. I had my drivers, my security detail, everything going good. I don't have no problems with nobody. I don't have no problems.
And as she shouldn't. Okay, because if you have relationships with a lot of people, you normally don't have any problems where you're moving. And as you can see, she is moving properly the way that anybody would when you go into a city. That's just like when I was telling y'all that I was requested to come out to LA and cover the Big U trial. I said there were certain things that I needed to be in place when I came out there to California. When I touched down, immediately as soon as I touched down in the city, I need people there at the airport. I need transportation. I need people around me. I need a place to stay. Basically, y'all have to look out for me. And I most importantly need people around me to protect me because I am out of the state coming into that state. And I have a lot of people that don't like me on that side of the world. So she's moving properly. I need my security. So she's not slipping or lacking in anything that she's doing.
Because I don't make problems or create problems. I'm a problem solver. And I'm always going to take the side of right. And everybody knows that. I've always been one that can come into situations and mediate between artists and artists, labels and labels, city and city, and have respect on both sides to squash those. That's what I was groomed and raised to do. Yeah. So I'm in New York this day. My flight was to leave at 7. I took the hotel checkout was at 1. I said, I gave my security and told them, pay them off. Y'all can go. I just my driver. I had my artist. I had my assistant, which lives in New York. He was there, and I had gave the security. It's off. We don't have no problems. I just have them come around with me just in case. Somebody want to come acting funny. But I've never had any problems to persist like what happened this day.
So that's important as well to note because, she had her security the whole time that she's moving around. This is her last day. She doesn't, it's a light day. I don't really need security. So now she done sent her security home. All right. And this is where I'm going to say Skyy fucked up and she fucked around and found out. You don't never let your security go until you are at that airport and you're safely behind TSA. That's how I feel. For anybody who is a blogger, a content creator, a celebrity, a semi-celeb, whatever it is, an influencer, when you're moving around, you got to know how to move around nowadays. You got to have protection with you at all times, and your protection must be people that you trust, because it cannot be anybody that you just hiring to be around you, because then they're hired hands, they could easily be bought off by anybody to set you up. So now eliminate security being on the table as somebody who was a part of the setup, because that's not what happened. She sent them home because this is the last day of my trip. I don't plan on going anywhere, doing much anything, so I don't really need y'all. So y'all could go ahead and go on home.
So my plans were to go see the Statue of Liberty, because as many times as I've been in New York, I never have time to do any tourist. So I specifically planned this itinerary to where I have a gap where I could go see the Statue of Liberty. So hotel checkouts at 1, drivers there to be at 2, go Statue of Liberty, then get to the airport. So as I'm getting dressed, I'm getting our bags packed, we're getting ready to leave. It's about noon. I get a call from 50 Cent's right-hand man, which is DJ Thorough.
Okay.
And Thorough says, "Hey sis, I heard you was in town, blah, 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 blah. Come by this 650. And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm tired. I have relationships with all the DJs. I'm co-founder of one of the biggest DJs in the country. Shout out to my Go DJs. I represent some of the biggest DJs in the industry, RIP Michael 5000 Watts, my brother. I'm on my way to H-Town after we leave. After I leave here.
Now, that's why a lot of people don't know who she is. She's a mover and shaker behind the scenes, and her network is with the DJs. Now, I'm going to tell you why moving with the DJs, especially back in the day, was so important, that you needed a person who had relationships with these DJs, because if you don't know, that's how your records got played. Okay, you had to have a network of DJs behind you. Hey, I got this artist and this is their song. And you know what I'm saying? That's how the music industry used to work back then. And a lot of times it was done on some quid pro quo. You play this album for me, I'll do this for you. Or there was money given and the album was played. That's how it went back in the days, before all of the era of the internet came into play with clicks, likes, views, virality, and all of that. That's how the game went. So you don't really know much about her, because she's a behind the scenes mover and shaker. She's an OG in the game.
Yes. So, and I've never had any problems with any of the DJs. They're like my best buddies, because, DJs and publicists are always the ones in the back.
Welcome.
For everything that the artists are doing. Mm-hmm. So, and I've never had any.
Welcome to Devin Stars Stats 720. Everybody give them a warm welcome to the bar. Welcome to the bar. Absolutely, Miss Pammy. Pay hola.
Problems with 50, so like I was totally caught off guard. So Thorough begged me.
Hey, Monique.
Come on, sis, come on. And I'm like, me being the old Skyy, the people pleaser Skyy. All right. Putting people before myself. Okay. I took it. I had already let my security leave, so I just had, my driver and my assistant, the artist. Like, all right, I'll be down there. I did not want to go because I was just at Quad City, like the night before, which is right across the street. Like, it totally threw my itinerary out, but me being the people pleaser, I went.
So now, because of the relationship that she had with DJ Thorough, she said, okay, I don't have no security to move the way that I normally would move, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this favor anyway, because I don't suspect that there's going to be any issue. But you see how she said she didn't want to go? That gut instinct, when your gut instinct tells you not to do something, don't do it. That goes for anybody. That's a teachable and learning moment right there for everybody. When you get that gut feeling, follow that damn gut.
Unknowing. Now, mind you, I have no idea that I am walking into an ambush.
Right.
I'm finna walk into ambush. I'm finna lose my life. Is where I was on my last ride to in New York. So we knew, and I was staying in Manhattan, so he wasn't too far, because 50 places in Manhattan. So I say, look, I'm gonna get there at 3 o'clock. I'm only gonna stay 1 hour, because they were taping This Is 50 show. That's another reason why I have never did another podcast, because that podcast that I died behind, I still suffer from PTSD. Okay. So I said, I'm only gonna stay for 1 hour, right? 1 hour. That's it. That's all. I gotta get to the airport. So we get there, me, my assistant artist, we jump out. I had a driver spin the block, because parking down that $60 an hour.
Right.
I'm like, by the time you make 2 of these city blocks, because as long as it takes to get around New York, I'll be coming out, go spin the block. So they buzz me in. I get into the lobby. They come down, get me, go up there. Thorough. Hey, Thorough, what's up, bro? What's up, brother? Hey, sis. Boom, boom, boom. He walked me around. This is 50. I'm not impressed. Look like a little newsroom to me. And so I go have a little small room like this. We sit back, me, him, Junior. Now, you got to understand, when I'm explaining this story and explaining things, I'm finna explain it for when it happened, and then when it first happened, you don't know what happened, but you're talking about 7 years later. So now I know what happened, and I was able to play it back in my mind and put the pieces together.
Now, that's a very important part that she just said. It's 7 years later after everything has already happened. And now she's able to play everything out and put the pieces together, because back then she ain't know much about Tekashi. She didn't know who Shotty was. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know who this hip hop cop was that she spoke to either. So now, from 7 years to now, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have been exposed. A lot of people have begun coming up in the ranks of the internet. So now she's able to piece everything together. And one of the things that y'all have to remember that makes this story suspicious for me, and this is for all of those of y'all that be like, oh, she's a 50 fan. Yes, I love me some 50, but at the same time, I am not biased. Okay? I'm not biased to call things out and call spades spades. I see exactly how she's looking at it, and y'all probably gonna see it too when I say this. DJ Thorough was the one that had the connection to her that could get her to come out, even if she didn't want to. Because of their business relationship, he could get her to come out. So she comes out and she goes over there to 50 Studios, and she sits and she does This Is 50's podcast and sits and does an interview with them. Shotty and Tekashi rob her. Shotty and the Treyways rob her down in the lobby while Tekashi 6ix9ine sits in the truck and records it, right? Mm-hmm. Who was managing Tekashi 6ix9ine at one point in time, or had a business dealing with him? 50 Cent. During the time that she went to go and do this interview at This Is 50, 50 had musical business dealings with 50 Cent. So you see why she's saying DJ Thorough set her up, even though in all honesty, what I believe happened is because it was live streaming and because Academics was live streaming, and she's going to tell you that, and Tekashi 6ix9ine was getting some of that feed. I believe that's why that's how all of that setup was able to happen. But I see how she's seeing it. Mm-hmm.
How they caught me sleeping, who caught me sleeping, who set the play up, all of that. Yeah, I'm gonna take you back down through there.
Right.
So I go off in there. They standing up, mic'd up. We, do the interview. We shouldn't have done now, not knowing the whole time the camera man is actually feeding the footage to DJ Academic and to Tekashi 6ix9ine. They're stalling time to make sure they got the move for this hit.
Yeah.
So I don't know about them streaming it to Tekashi 6ix9ine, but I can see This Is 50 streaming it to DJ Academics, and then Tekashi watching the stream on Academics Live. That's how I think that went. That they were streaming it, and so Academics was watching it at the time, and that's how Tekashi was able to put his eyes on it. That's me as an outsider, knowing all the players and knowing the relationships that were going on. That's how I'm interpreting it. But you know, she sees it the way she sees it, and I'm not trying to discredit anything that she's saying, but I am giving my commentary on this and my thoughts, and that's my thought and that's my opinion, and it doesn't necessarily make it true. But to me, that's what makes more sense as to how Tekashi would see the live stream.
So, mind you, I'm totally cut off guard. We do the interview and go take pictures till thorough by exactly 1 hour. I'm leaving. I'm ready to go. I'm hot. Got a fur coat on, got some heels on, put my flip-flops back on. I'm busting out the door with my bag. Let's go. Moving with, you know, what people moving with, being the charge leader that I am. And go downstairs. They sign us out. We walking. Now, as I'm walking to the double doors, I see a black on black Suburban come up like mine. But it's driving crazy. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cuss the drive out. Driving crazy like that. So 5 guys jump out of the car, right? And they all got guns. I can see the guns. I'm very street smart, right? So we were walking through the lobby. I see the guns, but I'm still walking. I'm like, oh, they must be shooting a movie out there. We're in Manhattan. They shoot movies every other block. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, they must be shooting a movie. So I'm still walking while I'm seeing it. We walking, I'm like, oh, look at them. They got guns. They must be shooting a movie or something. So as soon as I grab the glass door, they energy changed from looking around and finna go somewhere and turn straight to me. Mm-hmm. 5 men. They own this the door, this the Sally Port, and they're at this door. They're at this door, I'm at this door. By the time I realized that it was an ambush coming for me. So when they snatched the doors open, I'm already putting the door out. They got me. It is nothing I can do.
Oh shoot, my bad. I was all okay. So let me go back. So this is what I was saying. I was saying that I couldn't find the clear footage of what was going on and if this was the actual incident, because you know there's a couple of incidents that have been recorded of them running down and robbing people, but based off of the title and because I couldn't find anything else pertaining to this robbery, this is the best video that I could get. Tasha K never played the full robbery video that she has, which is actually from the CCTV inside of the building. That would have been clearer and gave us a better picture of what actually happened that day. But allegedly, this is the footage of her being robbed coming from This Is 50. Okay. But they titled this as 6ix9ine's crew allegedly robs James Prince Jr., artist in New York. That's what it says, and it's from 7 years ago. So those are all my context clues that said, okay, and this is the best video we gonna get. All right, so I wanted to show y'all that. Now let's get back into what Sky's saying.
They got me. They say, rap a lot. Now to know the man that screamed fuck rap a lot was Shotty. I did not know Shotty. I still do not know Shotty. Shotty was who screamed fuck rap a lot. Get on the ground. Where Junior at? They roughing up my artist. They roughing up my assistant looking for J. Prince Jr. J. Prince Jr. was not there. Yeah. My response was when he said get on the ground. When he came through his exact words, fuck rap a lot. Get on the ground. Where Junior at? Those are the exact words. My exact response was, yeah, fuck rap a lot. Junior ain't here. That was my exact words. And I'm not getting on the ground. My daddy said, if you gonna kill me, you better look at me in my face, nigga. That's exactly what I told Shotty. At this time, they got us hemmed up in the Sally Port. They done snatched my bag. I really threw it to them. You can have it all. They done snatched everything I got. They over roughing up my sister. My sister is just as gay as, no disrespect to any of, no gay people. I love my sister. I feel so bad that this happened to him with me because he did not deserve that either. And he is still going through it.
Now I have to laugh because she said they talk about fuck rap a lot. She's like, yeah, fuck rap a lot. Like, listen, I understand it and I get it. Cause in that moment, you trying to rob me. You got these choppers out and all of that. Yeah, fuck them. You right. I'm sorry. That tickled the hell out of me when she said that.
This is hard.
It's a traumatic experience.
Oh, because he started a railroad of events. Okay, so they robbed us, rough us up. It was an old white man came and opened the door. When the old white man opened the door, I ran out the door and I ran in the street because I'm looking for police. Because at this particular time, if you've been to Manhattan, you know it's the police on every 32nd. The law so hot you can't even hit a joint a little bit and put it out. They gonna smell it. Then they got the robot police. I'm running to the corner screaming for help. I don't see a police nowhere. And I'm just knowing I'm finna hear gunshots because anytime you have seen things that trickled after this, you've seen all of these murders start happening after this in the industry. What the murders wasn't happening before this. The murders start happening after this. Right. You get where I'm going? This open up a whole chain of events that I'm gonna take you down there through it.
And you know what? She's absolutely right. Because we weren't seeing rappers being run down with choppers being pulled out on them. And she's right. If a chopper has gotten pulled out on a rapper, they are not here anymore. Okay, we are pouring out liquor and they are on t-shirts, baby. So she is definitely speaking some TRUTH right now.
Murders wouldn't happen before that. Everybody else who got those choppers put in their face like I did. They did. Right. God saved me for a reason. God gave me these teeth for a reason. Finna eat their hearts out. It ain't exposing nothing. I'm not gonna give you no allegations, no alleged. I ain't gonna put none of it on anything that I say. Defamation, I want all of it because I have been defamed. I don't care. Look, what else can you take from me? I'm speaking my truth. So they take everything from me. I jump right in, and by the time I get to the end of the corner, I heard a car speeding out, but I was listening for gunshots because I just knew they was gonna kill my babies. I knew they was gonna kill my assistant, shoot me in the back. My artist that was there with me. I'm not gonna say the artist name that was there with me. Some people, if you know, you know. The internet probably gonna find out who it is, but out of respect, I'm not gonna put any names that have not. I'm not gonna add no additional names into.
There is video footage of this.
Right? Oh, there's a lot of video footage because. Okay, so we get robbed. The first thing I want to do, since I couldn't find the police, I jump in the car with my driver because he pulled up right after that. I jump in the car. He see us frantic, like, what is you doing out here running around like you crazy? What's going on? He jump out the car, like, we just got robbed. Something just happened. And I'm telling him, I'm like, get me the out of New York. Get me the out of New York. So I just want to get home. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I need to call home and tell my husband what happened. I need to tell my kids what happened. I need to call down in Houston and tell Junior somebody trying to kill him. I'm terrified, but guess what? They done took all our phones. They done took everything. So by the time I get to the airport, we had artist interest because we was on a private. So when this how crazy I have never been so scared a day in my life. I have never. If I ever feel anybody come to me in my life with that kind of fear, they turn when I say how they turn, the engine turned towards me. I suffer from PTSD from that moment. If I ever feel that kind of bad energy again, if number one, you got to get away from me, but I will shoot you.
And I don't blame her. If anybody ever puts you in that type of situation, you're going to feel that way too. And it's crazy because, not to laugh, because I'm not laughing at her, but I'm just laughing and chuckling because I can understand. She said as soon as that white man opened that door, she took off running, baby, and she jumped. Shit, her driver pulled up and she jumped straight in the car. Nigga, get me out of here. Get me out of New York. They just robbed me. Get me out of here. Girl, I don't even know, y'all, where is the assistant? Where's the artist? Did they get in the truck too? Did you leave them behind? Because, baby, let me tell you something. That was a true everybody for themselves moment.
I wear a mask. I don't bother nobody, but I have to protect my life. And that'll never happen again. I get to the airport. Guess who the first person I run into trying to get my luggage? I'm paranoid. I'm so paranoid. I don't know who done set me up. I'm not trusting nobody. Was it the driver? Is it the man at the airport? Who did it? But what I did do was was able to grab my backup phone. I'm like, DJ Thorough. I'm getting the car. I'm calling DJ Thorough. I get my phone. I call back to the city. Tell my sister, pull up these people I need you to call. These people I need to see what the fuck going on. I'm trying to call DJ Thorough. I'm like, because I want to ask him what happened. Did you know what happened? Who are these people? Because that's the person who invited me there. DJ Thorough.
Yeah.
50 Cent's right-hand man. And I need to call you and let you know what just happened to me in your building, correct? He's not answering the phone at all. By the time we get to the airport, which is like maybe 45 minutes after the incident happened, I get out the car. Carmen is at the entrance. I'm so nervous and shaking like a leaf. He grabs my bags. He's like, can I help you? I was like, certainly, sir. He's like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm not even paying him no attention. I'm trying to get text message and word out to everybody. And he's standing there, just a gentleman. He let me go.
Just comment.
And my artist is sitting over there like, Mama, that's Carmen. I didn't even know. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Carmen. Thank you so much. Can we get a picture, sir? And I can't talk right now because I am extremely busy. I didn't want to tell him what had just happened,
Right.
but I did not have time to chat. Right. Took the picture with him and, jumped on the plane. I got to get the fuck up out of here. When we get to the airport, the shit don't went viral. It's already, at this time, I would say 4 million views within 45 minutes. The video at this time was shown from somebody inside of the Suburban that was filming it, right?
And we know who that was sitting inside of the Suburban filming it, because Tekashi 6ix9ine was good for doing that. Remember when they did that whole incident at the LAX and all of that stuff happened, and Shotty and all of them was whooping ass at the airport? Who was filming it? 6ix9ine. Okay. Do you think 6ix9ine mother's robbery was a retaliation, not from this incident, but from something else? I think it's karma. Okay, probably karma. Yeah, I think she did. Well, actually, she couldn't have left him because she said, the person who was with her told her that the guy that was saying, "Excuse me, ma'am, can I help you?" was common. So I guess, they did probably jump in the car. But I'm just saying, if listen, somebody pulling out choppers, it's a every man for himself situation. You better follow suit. You see me haul ass, you better haul ass too. But, the 6ix9ine was recording.
Now it's a lot of different angles of it. Through all of the litigations and stuff that went on, they were able to pull footage and all the footage on top of the footage that I had.
So that's what I was trying to find, was maybe the footage from the litigation or whatever. But I ain't had time to be going through, and I wasn't about to bother Henny Legal and tell them to go digging through and see if they could find a damn video. So that was the best video that we could have. And if I find something clearer or a better copy, I'll post it over there on That Girl Henny Reviews on IG. And make sure y'all are following official That Girl Henny Reviews on IG as well, because over there I'm talking about politics and real life stuff. And yeah, and I talk about all of it over here on this page, just so y'all know.
That I backed up. So you got different angles, but the first angle that came out was the Suburban. That's the one that DJ Academic fed out. The person inside of the car, which we know now today, it was Tekashi 6ix9ine, was the one inside of the car holding the camera. I didn't know that at the time, but I did know that the hit had came from Tekashi 6ix9ine by the time I got to the airport, because he at least did DJ Academic, and DJ Academic. And now, mind you, this is when all this internet stuff first started coming. This is when all this podcasts and bloggers, but this is the internet first start. People start, associating with this type of new content creation, right? Mm-hmm. So Tekashi, first thing is DJ Academic. I had never heard of DJ Academic, first of all. I had never heard of him. And it's somebody from somebody named DJ Academic is sharing a video that says J Prince Jr. gets robbed by Tekashi 6ix9ine and his goons at 50 Cent's studio. And this is going viral. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And now, mind you, and by the time now it's 45 minutes later, it done went viral. It's up to over, almost 4 million views. 4 million views. It's spreading like wildfire. And J Prince Jr. done already responded, because Junior wasn't with me. Junior was in Florida with Meek. So Junior goes on her, because him and Junior previously he was with J Prince Jr. Remember, they had got into it, and he was telling Junior to suck him and the Shotty dude and the dudes, because him and Junior had got into it a couple of weeks earlier at South by Southwest. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing South by Southwest since the very beginning. Ain't never had no problem. Look, I see Junior, and that's my brother, that's my family. I love rap a lot, but I didn't have anything to do with him and Junior getting into it, right? So Junior responds. Junior didn't even look at the video. Junior just assumed that this was this little boy messing with him again, lying on him again, starting trying to do this, what he calls clout chasing now. The worst thing that ever came into the industry was that word clout chasing. How many people have died behind clout chasing? Clout chasing is the new drug. It's worse than crack. Everybody chasing is 5 minutes of high.
She ain't never lied. She ain't never lied.
I mean, doing the worst thing to everybody, the mothers, the brothers, the sisters, their family, backstabbing just to get 5 minutes of high. They chase, it's worse than crack. They chasing clout now, not crack, clout. So I get back to Texas. I immediately got to get to Houston. I immediately got to get to Houston. By the time I get home, my husband got security everywhere. I'm terrified. Everybody's drilling me of how did I miss protocol? Because we got to figure this out. Skyy just got robbed at New York by 5 niggas at gunpoint at 50 Cent's studio. And they would look for J Prince Jr. We got to figure out what the happened. Who the happened, what the happened. I'm being drilled. When I tell you I'm being drilled on every side. I'm talking about literally, I know the day that I feel when that look came to me and they pulled them guns on me, I felt my life leave my body. I no longer had the love for the industry, the entertainment, my job, my career anymore. No, they didn't kill me physically, but they did, and a piece of my soul died. So you say, Skyy, where you been? I've been fighting for my life. Real bad. Get back to Texas. Immediately got to go down to Houston. Got to have a meeting with the whole family. I've always been a good girl.
Right.
I've never stepped around. Can't nobody ever say they had me. I don't kick nobody's ass unless they deserve it. I ain't never been a bully. Thank you, honey. I always follow protocol. I've never been called into the office. I've never got in trouble. I was terrified. I think I literally, like, I don't even drink. Like, Angel gave me a shot. I'm gonna take a little shot now. I literally drank a whole bottle of tequila. I was so nervous. I was so nervous.
Listen, that is a life-altering situation that happened to her. And I don't blame her for going through, the motions of everything. Because could you imagine? And then you trying to figure everything out, and you got people on you, your family, your husband, your team. You got people on you that are asking you, how did you skip protocol? How did you skip protocol? But anyway, let's skip ahead just a little bit, because like I said, she could be a little wordy at times, but it's not like her wordiness is how other people's wordiness is, where it's like just rambling nonsensically. That's not what's happening here. She's giving you a full account of things. But let's skip ahead just a little bit to 42. Okay, yeah, to here.
I walk out the door, and even I let my security walk behind me, I would get this fear. So I was moving different. Then I started, when they robbed me, they took my hard drives. 5 hard drives. That everybody remember, I used to carry them hard drives everywhere I go. I had them 5 hard drives. That's all my artist contracts, that's all my blueprints, all my paperwork, all the files, all the music, all the artwork, all my lectures, that for my school lectures, my teaching lectures, all of my programs, all of my plans, all of my work on those 5 hard drives.
So when they stole from her, of course they stole money from her, but they stole her hard drives with all her shit on it. All of her business stuff is on it. Okay? All of it. But now let's get here.
This is where I get interesting, world. So I fly back to New York the next week to go file the charges. I had been calling and, trying to see if I could do it over the phone or over the internet. I just really needed a report number, so maybe I can file with my insurance or something. I remember they would transfer me around. I'm like, I need to report a robbery. I need to report a robbery. I need to report a robbery. And the first thing, where did it happen at? Now, New York has the tightest gun laws in the country. And they really don't play in Manhattan and Times Square, where the studio was located at. They don't play down there. If it was in Brooklyn or the Bronx or Queens, they probably wouldn't have gave much and took my story seriously, but it happened in the tourist town. So I fly back to New York, me and my artist. I had already been talking to, the detectives, letting them know I need to fly back. So they gave me which precinct I need to go to and what I need to do. Get back to New York, I'm undercover, go dip in. I go to the precinct, talk to the lady at the front desk, tell her who I was. I had been calling, and this is what they told me to do. They take me upstairs to this room.
Pay attention.
Sit in the little police room, right? Me and my artist. They have us fill out a statement. what happened. It was a white detective first. He fill out the statement. He takes the statement. He say, stay right here. He come back with a big black man. Big buff ass black man. Kind of mean. White dude's kind of cool. Black dude mean. Everybody plain clothes, remind you that. They not in suits. Police suits or suits, they all plain clothes. T-shirts, jeans, but they laws. They police. Black dude, he done read the statement. He say, come with me. We go to another room. We go, no lie. We go to a room. It's about 15 plain clothes of women and men, plain clothes. They got all these computers linked up. Guess what I walked into? Everybody thought it was a myth. The hip hop police really exist.
What?
Me and Junior boy look at ourselves. I said, damn, nigga, this the hip hop police. He said, walk through and look at all these computers. Identify who robbed you. Every last one of these detectives, they got all the Tekashi 6ix9ine, them, all of them. They got all they got all these people. Now, mind you, I ain't never heard of Shotty. I only heard of Tekashi. I don't know him. I don't know nobody, none of these people.
Now, for those of y'all who do not know, never heard of the hip hop police, I'm going to learn y'all some things on the hip hop police, because I seen when I was IG live, there's people that don't never heard of the hip hop police. So the hip hop police was a police unit within New York City, NYPD. Okay, they used to run with the gun squad, because the gun squad was the only squad that could move about without worrying about jurisdictions, because, you know, in the cities, they have precincts, and the precincts, they have jurisdictions. So they used to follow around all of the artists, the rappers from New York. They used to pull them over in their cars, their vehicles, search their vehicles. They ran investigations and backgrounds on not only the artists, but their entourages, the labels, and all of that. They had a dossier. Now, I'm trying to see if I can get this dossier for y'all. Why would you? Please don't announce. I'm live. I'm live right now. So they had a dossier, which was a book of every rapper, all their arrest charges, everything, just a rundown of everything. So, yeah, the hip hop police was real. And it started in New York, and then it stretched out into Miami. It stretched out into California. It stretched out into Vegas. So the hip hop police, a lot of people thought it was a myth, even though you had rappers like Prodigy, RZA, Fredro Starr, and 50 Cent, and you had a lot of New York rappers, and Jadakiss. They were all telling y'all about the hip hop police. They've made songs about the hip hop police. People still did not believe that they existed. So now Skyy is saying that she walked right up into the hip hop police division of NYPD. Yes.
But I can remember who robbed me because it's stitched in my head, right? So they like walked through it. So they all got all these music videos and all these pictures and all this. Like, I'm going computer to computer. It's like, look at this. Look at that. I identified my robbers from all of that stuff. It was like, okay, fine, thank you. We're going to get back with you. Now, this is where it get good at.
Hold on, before she tell you where it get good at, I want y'all to listen to what she said. Now, I just told you about a dossier, right? She's telling you how there is a room, about 15 plainclothes detectives, because that's how the hip hop police, how they moved. They moved like they was undercovers because they were undercovers. And the one thing that I forgot to mention was that they also had people that they would infiltrate the circles of these rappers to get inside information. So now she's walking into a room with 15 officers and they got all Tekashi shit pulled up on the computers. It's the hip hop police. Yeah.
Guess who the black detective was that interviewed me?
A black detective that interviewed you.
The black undercover hip hop police detective that interviewed me and took the case when I filed the charges on Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Black undercover detective
who shortly became his manager shortly after that. Wack 100.
What?
Wack 100.
Hold on. Okay, so you're saying
I am saying Wack 100 is a New York. He started out. He's the one who reported turned the case over to the feds.
Now, you can see your way up out my life, sir. You must be one of Wack's dingleberries over here that done lost your way. See you later. Okay? A civilian could never be a snitch. Now, I'm going to say this again. I'm not refuting her story, but what I'm going to tell you is I do not believe that Wack 100 is a hip hop cop, because you cannot just be picked up off the street to be a hip hop cop. You got to actually be a cop in order to be that. But what I will say is I do believe that Wack 100 was working for the feds at this point, because you've got to remember that this happened in 2019. Wack had that Texas gun case in 2011, and it was dismissed in the interest of justice. So I believe that at that point in time, he was already a fed, and he was not managing Tekashi 6ix9ine as of yet, but Tekashi was under investigation by the feds at this particular point in time. When she had this robbery happen to her, he was already under federal investigation. And when Tekashi got released from prison, Wack 100 became his manager, and Tekashi keeps going in and out of prison, and he keeps getting out, which I have a video coming on Tekashi 6ix9ine and why he keeps getting out on paper. But I want you to listen to what she just said. She said he's the one that turned her robbery over to the feds. So now let me ask y'all this. If he's the one that turned her case over to the feds, and we know that back in 2011, the Texas gun case already happened, and that case was dismissed in the interest of justice suspiciously, and that he always has information on all of these artists, all these rappers. He always knows about the cases that are coming out with anybody that is involved in the industry. He has the information. He gets the paperwork. He's got a network of spies. Right? He was the one dropping dimes on Big U before Big U paperwork was even a thing. Before we even knew that this was really a case that was happening against Big U, Wack was already dropping dimes and telling us about what was going to happen and what was in the case. Got loose cannon up there in incriminating himself and putting these narratives out there. Wack was already working for the feds. So if she walks into the hip hop police section of New York City, put NYPD in the room with the hip hop cops, and she's talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine, and that white officer walks out and goes and gets this black guy and brings him in, Wack 100 was already gathering intel and giving intel on Tekashi 6ix9ine, or he was studying his target, because Tekashi was about to become his target after he got arrested. He may have been starting to try to become his manager prior to. I don't know. I got to check the footage to see how Wack 100 and Tekashi 6ix9ine's relationship really came to be, because Tekashi got close with academics and got close with Wack. So he was already doing his due diligence on Tekashi. So I believe that he is not a part of the hip hop cops, but that he was working with the hip hop cops. Because if y'all remember, and I'm going to do an in-depth video, if y'all remember, or if y'all don't know the story, the hip hop cops began traveling out to LA and to Vegas when the East Coast, West Coast beef ended with the death of Tupac and Biggie. They started going out to LA and to Vegas. Yeah. And who was out there? And who had a tie into what was going on musically out there in the West? Wack 100. Henny Glasses in the chat, if my breakdown makes sense to you.
The case would have just been a case on somebody's desk that would have gotten caught up in millions of other that happened in New York. Wack 100 is the detective that interviewed me when I made the report on Tekashi. He's the one that referred it over to the feds. And then that's where his promotion came in.
Hold on. Hold on. So you're saying Wack 100 was
Wack 100. Wack 100. And I've said back all this time, flabbergasted. Now, mind you, let's do a pyramid.
okay.
I've showed you where 56 is at. I've showed you Tekashi. I showed you DJ Academic. Did nobody know who DJ Academic was until Tekashi 6ix9ine. Well, he got his clout off of Tekashi. He made his name off the.
He was doing a lot of Chicago stuff at first, and then.
But his name got. That
they
bullshit.
get bigger. Yeah.
That clout chasing. DJ Academic is the one that really started that first messy blog rhetoric, right?
Yeah.
And that's true.
With the messy in New York, and then going to Tekashi 6ix9ine, then Tekashi, he became the poster child of clout chasing industry rap beef, right?
So, if y'all want to watch the full entire interview, y'all can head on over there to Real Street Stars and go check out that video. But this is my 1-2 on it. You know, I do believe what she is saying to be true and accurate. I do believe that she did indeed encounter Wack 100. It is very on brand for him. This is just my take on it. You know, I'm spilling Henny and giving you my thoughts on that. But I do believe that at this particular point in time, that he was already an informant, and that he was in there collecting intel or giving intel to the hip hop police, or the hip hop police knew that she was coming that day and they brought him in there. Okay. Because he can't be an actual cop, but we do know that he can be a federal informant. And at this particular time, what I do want to also note is that the hip hop police began working with the feds. So you got to also remember that from the hip hop cops, we've gotten hip hop Ricos. Now, this woman has no reason to get on Real Life Street Stars and lie on Wack 100 and say that she encountered him when she, in fact, did not. She did not know who Wack was in 2019. And if you think about it, Wack didn't start blowing up until recently. Okay, we started knowing who he was, I want to say, you know, probably about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Wack started rising up in the internet streets, and he didn't become this big pain in the ass that everybody knows until about 2 years ago, when Blueface got into all of that trouble that he was getting into. And as Blueface was locked up, Wack became the rising star of his own self. Okay, he was managing himself, managing his way into everything. And like I said a few minutes ago, Wack always seems to have the intel on what's going on when it comes down to your favorite rappers and your rappers that you hate. He can pull a piece of paperwork out the air and produce some shit. But not only will he produce some shit that is probably real, he also produces some fake felonious ass paperwork, as we know he has done in the past. He's pulled fake paperwork. By the way, Wack, you still owe dog face money for that T Grizzly paperwork because you lied, sir. Yeah, and you got busted in that live. So, but we ain't gonna mention such things. We just gonna keep the party moving. But how crazy is it that when you think back from 7 years, she done sat back and watched all of this? And I agree with what she said about DJ Academics. Now, people knew who he was. And yes, he did create a buzz when he did the Chirac series on Chicago, but he really didn't start. She is clocking his tea. That messy blogger shit didn't start happening until Academics linked up with Tekashi 6ix9ine and Wack 100, which makes you go, and makes you wonder who else is in bed with the hip hop feds that has these podcasts that keep doing these crazy fucking numbers for no reason. Yeah. Wack 100's brother was he was unalived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. And then you have to also think when you go back to the Big U case. Big U's case mentions how Wack 100 was talking to Houston detectives. Did y'all see that? Let me pull that up for those who might not have seen it or might have skipped past it, scrolled past it, or whatever. Let me go on ahead and pull up my own content because I did post about this. Because while 600 is over there popping all the ish that he is popping, what 600 is failing to produce or to get in and discuss is he is failing to discuss this right here, because it says in black and white, and this came from Big U's case. It says, for example, in July of 2022, the FBI Houston division conducted a telephone interview of Cash Jones, aka Wack 100, C. Jones, about his interactions with the subject of their investigation. The FBI Houston division believes that C. Jones recorded the interview because the entirety of the interview was posted on YouTube the following day. So they go on to say that they had a conversation with Wack. Yeah. Why would the Houston feds be reaching out to Wack 100 about anything? Now, we know that Wack 100 spoke on Jay Prince, right? And now here we have the paperwork in Big U's case saying that he talked to the feds and recorded it. Why are you talking to the feds? And the story goes that Wack called the feds first and the feds called him back. He got a plug into the feds. I don't know how much more people need to see or hear to believe that this dude is an undercover that is exposed. And now you have Skyy Lyfe, who has no reason to lie on him, coming out and identifying him in a New York City police precinct, talking with the hip hop cops. Now, doesn't it make sense that that would be the reason why he knows all the shit that he be knowing? Because you are part of a hip hop division within the feds. that's responsible for these RICOs. Yeah, if you think that there's not a hip hop Fed division, then maybe I don't know what country you live in. Because if they could do a hip hop cop unit, you best believe they got a hip hop Fed unit as well. But that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in with me for this. If you are on the replay, gang, let me know what y'all think. But at the end of the day, I think that that is just another layer that adds on to the CS2 back of it all. Y'all, thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in. Remember to vibe high so the bullshit don't stick. Like the video. And I'll see y'all in the next part. Oh, and go watch my Lex Wexner video, please. Watch my political videos as well. If y'all love me and y'all love Henny, watch everything that I do because we are going to start talking about a lot of shit over here, okay? But I love all of y'all. Rest well. Thank y'all for coming out and good night.
Cause I don't want